Hello, everybody, it's Glass Half Dead here, and today I am rejoined by the illustrious, the delightful Necron Chuck. Necron Chuck, hi, how's it going?
It's going great, man. How are you?
Ah, life is a constant drag upon my existence, but that's how things go in England. Before we get into my crippling depression, let's talk Kill Team, because that's much more interesting. You are, as I just implied, Necron Chuck. You were called that because, as I feel to no surprise, you managed to do really, really well with Necrons, did you not?
Yes, I did, and like I said, and as I mentioned previously in our previous interview, I was very surprised considering I that was my first and second time playing on a competitive scene, and with what is may consider to be a sub-tier kill team. So
Indeed, indeed. I think that's part of what people like to hear, though. They like to hear those underdog stories. You know, those just like that's why so many people liked Michael's win or almost win with the Azarani because everybody thought Azarani were trash tier, and then somebody comes out and says, no, they're god tier, and he makes them something, and it's really great. And you are also, if I may add, rather eloquent when it comes to typing your posts on Reddit. Very informative, and I think they teach people a lot about Necrons. But I'm really glad to have you here because I think we can get a little bit more out of you possibly with audio.
yeah, and of course you'll forgive me for stuttering a bit. I'm much more eloquent typing when I've had a chance to review what I've written than when I have to speak on the mic.
Well, not to worry, because today, obviously, allow me to set the scene, paint a picture for the listeners today. Uh, Basically, as I'm doing this new little series of interviews, kind of back to back every Monday, I'm taking all of the old people that I have had an interview with, and I'm bringing them back on because inevitably those people that I did manage to get on for an interview were kind of the best at their faction, you know, and you are the best at Necrons. So I'd love to chat Necrons with you. Um, let's start there. Let's just dive straight into it. Chuck, how are Necrons after elites?
Necrons after Elite have improved, although I would say they have not improved as dramatically as some factions have. For example, like the aforementioned Azuriani. Certainly, the Space Marines have gotten a major boost, and a few other factions as well. But it would be fair to say that yes, the Necrons have gotten a small boost to their fighting capability.
Okay, that's good to know. It would be very sad if they didn't. Before we jump into the units, because I think that's the obvious part, isn't it? Shall we cover the dynastic codes, the sub factions?
Oh, yeah, certainly, because that also plays a big part, right? Because
Definitely.
this is like pretty much a kill team wide buff.
Yes. Now,
Yes.
so I have played Necrons. In fact, I recently came first using Necrons in a small friendly competition event. So
Oh,
I know.
congratulations, man.
Thank you. It's bizarrely, it's bizarrely due to people not using, BCP, the pairings app for ITC.
Oh, yes, yes,
Bizarrely,
yes.
I am now the number one player in the UK. Because people have
Yeah,
only
no,
put
that
like
is very
four
bizarre.
games in.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, no, the scoring system for these tournaments are really weird because I know some of the top ranked people tend to be people who only play at their local tournaments. And of course, they get up, and not to disparage them, but they get up there because they're the only people that submitted their scores. That's why
Oh yes, no, that is 100% me. Yes, yes.
yeah, no, I mean,
100%.
not to disparage your playing skills, mind you.
You
I'm sure
should.
you're a very competent player, and if I
No,
were to play against you, I would be crushed immensely.
that is true though. Yes, correct. Um,
Yes. I
so I am familiar with the dynastic codes, and I believe there are kind of two obvious dynastic codes that are like people could read it and say, "Oh yeah, okay, I get where those are going."
Oh, really? I'd love to hear which ones you think they are. I mean, I could probably guess what they are, but go
Sure,
ahead.
sure. So obviously, first we have Mefrit with Solar Fury, which is an extra -1 to your AP when you are within half range and a shooting weapon. Next, or
Yep.
I already said next up. The second one is is it called Novok? Let's
It
assume
is
it's called
called.
Novok.
You're thinking the Awakened by Murder one, Novak. Yes.
Yes, so you get to re-roll failed hit rolls in the fight phase. Yeah, so the two that I just said are I feel the obvious dynastic codes. You can instantly look at them, see what's what. However, the other ones are a little bit more movement based, a little bit less obvious. So how about telling not just me, but also the listeners what's actually good and what are you able to do with those different codes?
Well, it goes without saying that, as you said, the Mefrit and the Novak dynastic codes are pretty much the go-to dynastic codes for your all-purpose fighting. Obviously, one is more for shooting, one is more for close combat. So it's just generally speaking, what's your play style? Now, the other three, they are either very situational or they are just generally speaking subpar. For instance, the Nihilak aggressively territorial, where they reroll unmodified hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase. Now, this would be great were it not for the second part of the sentence, which says, if they have not moved in this battle round. I mean, if you look at the Tau, for instance, they have a Sept Tenet, which is essentially the same thing, but they don't have to stand still to benefit from it. So right off the bat, it's really not that much of a benefit to shooting, especially when you consider competitive kill team is a very mobile game. Now, on that note, however, the Soltec dynastic codes, the relentless advance, it could be put to good use, I feel. Because after all, one of the biggest challenges to Necrons is that we don't move fast. We have a 5-inch movement, and we don't have any assault weapons besides the Immortals' Tesla carbine, which is our only assault options. However, if you take the Soltec Dynasty, that means your immortal Gauss blasters, your Gauss Flame ones, they can advance, becoming much quicker, and they can actually still shoot, which is which can be a bit of a benefit if mobility is your main game. Now, one of the dynastic codes that I thought would have been really amazing was how do you pronounce it? The Nefrek?
The Mefrit, do you mean? Or the Nefrek? They're so similar.
The Nefrek.
Yeah.
The Nefrek, the translocation beams. The one where so this one's very special because if a model in your kill team advances, you can reroll the d6, and if a model in your kill team advances, it can move across models and terrain as if they were not there. So when you consider how many times I've always wished my models could just move through terrain, move through walls, or intervening models. This is the ultimate answer. If you combine that with, say, your Immortals who are equipped with Tesla carbines, you have an army that is a kill team that is essentially not just maneuverable, not also putting out relatively okay firepower, but they pretty much just ignore any blocks. Because I can't count how many times my opponent, especially say I'm playing against a horde, where they place their gaunts or their Imperial Guards or their cultist spams in such a way to screen your movement, since you obviously cannot move within 1 inch of an enemy model unless you're charging. But with this dynastic codes, you can literally just teleport past them. And who knows? It could work. Although the problem though is that in Arena, this dynastic code doesn't work because one of the rules for Arena is that you cannot move through walls or those the wall terrains, so to speak. Just like jump-pack units cannot move through it, the Harlequins cannot hollow jump through it. And unfortunately, until they release an FAQ, but we're sticking to the guns, Nefrek dynastic code Necrons cannot teleport through walls, which
Well,
I
I
think is
think that's
really
fair
bit of a
because,
yes, but I'm a Necron player. A little bit of
w-
me wants to say I'm
sure,
teleporting.
of course, of
I'm not
course.
flying through a wall. I'm not jumping through a wall. I'm teleporting through a wall. It makes fluffy sense. So I'm
Okay,
very
so
sad on
I
that
do
part.
agree. Fluff, it does make a lot of sense because they are literally teleporting. So why would a wall stop
Yes,
them? But
yes. Now,
yeah,
yeah, balance for the sake of balance.
indeed, indeed.
Though the thing though is that because for the sake of balance, Necrons actually don't do very well in arena because we are too slow and we don't have enough bodies to essentially cover all. We can probably get back to that later. We're just talking about dynastic code.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, yeah, and then so yeah. So generally speaking, I really don't find myself often picking anything else but the Solar Fury or the Awakened by Murder. Now, the fun thing about Solar by Fury is that it is technically a boost to the Tesla Carbine because almost every Necron ranged weapon has an AP value. You know, the Gauss Blaster is AP2 Strength 5, the Gauss Flate, the Flayer is Strength 4 AP1. The Tesla Carbine, while it has the potential to, explode with multiple hits, it doesn't have AP, which kind of puts a little damper to it. However, if you take a Tesla Carbine team, combine it with Solar Fury, now you're talking about Strength 5 exploding guns on sixes that has AP1. That's pretty impressive, I'd say.
Okay, so this was actually a question I was going to ask you later once we got down to the real list building questions. But as you've brought it up, I may as well ask the question. When you were last on, you didn't rate Tesla particularly highly. As I recall, you did have some on your roster, but I don't think you used them at
Actually,
all in the
I
tournament.
had none of them on my roster.
Oh, okay,
Half because I don't have the models, the other
right.
half because I just was not impressed by what they brought to the game, so to speak.
Okay, but now presumably under Mefrit, that's changed for you. The AP -1 has changed the gun for you.
It hasn't changed dramatically. However, there's now more of a reason to bring it if you go with Mefrit Solar Fury as one of your main builds. Yes, because after all, Strength 5 AP1 with an Assault 2 gun, and it explodes on hits of sixes is really nice. However,
Sure.
it only works at half range, like at 12 inches or
Yes.
less. So obviously, you have to be a little close for comfort to benefit from it.
Well, uh, that is true, but I don't know about you, but recently I have found in most of my games I am almost always within 12. Very, very
Oh yeah, yeah,
rarely
no.
am I any further away.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Most of the games are definitely going to be within 12. Like, there's definitely no doubt about that. So it's not that big of a concern. But on certain maps where, like, you're playing on the short edge deployment, where the map is much longer, and especially if you're playing against an army that's willing to camp down and shoot against you, like certain Tau players, Space Marine gun lines, etc., where you have to walk up to them to shoot. There'll be a turn, maybe two, where you don't benefit from that AP bonus.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Yeah, and then but obviously, I mostly stick to the Novak Awakened by Murder because that's like a straight up boost for pretty much all your models in close combat, which is one of our major weaknesses, if you will.
Sure. Is it really a weakness though? I mean,
Okay,
10
so no,
flayed
no, no, that's
ones
probably a
is
poor choice of words. No, no, that is a poor choice of words on my part. It's not so much a weakness. We're just not overly amazing in close combat in
sure.
comparison to other races who brings a lot of high strength or high AP or high volume attacks. It's true though, our flayed ones can reroll all failed wound attempts, which is significantly amazing. But the fact that it doesn't have any AP value to it kind of puts a little damper to it, especially when you're trying to, claw past a Space Marine 3 plus 6.
No, I definitely agree. However, in
Yeah.
my tournament, I did run. I think it was 125 points, and I did have six, seven, eight. Can't quite remember. Flayed ones, and honestly, the reliability of getting 3 wounds through every turn, really good, even against Marines.
Yes, it's really scary. It's really scary. But of course, we have to also factor in the fact that flayed ones don't move very fast, don't have the capacity to get into close combat really quickly and reliably, and they're not particularly tough because of their 4-up armor save. That's why I guess my first impression was they're not. It's a weakness, just because our flayed one is the closest thing we get to a close combat specialist, but they don't have the maneuverability, they don't have the toughness, and they don't quite have the exact armor penetration that other races dedicated close combat models have. For example, the Assyriani Banshees, for instance, AP1 movement, what was it, 8 inches?
I think it's 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they have a 4-up armor save, don't they?
Ooh, pass. But it
Yes, I think
sounds
that, yeah,
very
they have a
possible.
four. Yep, they have a 4-up armor save, And when they declare a charge, enemy models react so they don't get shot at when they declare their charges too. And they reroll failed charge rolls. And this model costs only 1 extra point than a flayed one. Now, granted, their stats is only strength 3, toughness 3, but still you can see the difference, right? This one is a dedicated, person who's going to get into your face and going to stick there, and whatever they cut is going to hurt because they have a power sword, AP3.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so that unfortunately when you play with the close combat flayed ones, you really have to maneuver well and you have to hope your charges get off. Otherwise, they're screwed.
No, I agree. I do agree. So while we're still on Dynastic codes, technically, did you have
Yes.
anything else to kind of add, or is it kind of as simple as it seems? There are two good ones.
Um, it is unfortunately as simple as it seems, I'm afraid, because translocation beams, when you're on an open field, it's not as amazing. In arena, it could work if you really have to get someone, through a clogged corridor. But the fact that you can't go through walls just kind of puts a damper on it for me. That's it.
No,
It
I think most
just
people
in a whole
agree.
in terms of yeah, just in a whole in terms of the whole the regimental doctrines, the sub faction traits, so to speak. I feel is could have been done a little better, just in whole, not for
Sure.
Necrons in a whole, but for all the races. Because for some
Yeah,
races, it's just a straight up buff. For example, the Space Marine Salamander tactics. There's no one in the right state of mind who's a competitive player who would not just automatically pick Salamander traits. Because it's just, come on, it's like 6 free tactical rerolls every battle
yeah,
round.
it's crazy.
No one would give up on that. It's
Yeah,
crazy. And there's no penalty to it. That's the thing. You give them these great abilities, but you don't give them like an off penalty. Like you still like I know it's crazy. Like you can sure tactical rerolls, but maybe you move 1 inch less or something like that. Like obviously not that drastic, but I feel like
something,
these things
sure.
could have been a bit more of a give or take. It could have been a bit more of a flavor thing.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I think everyone's in the same boat as you. Salamanders is really, really good. Um, Although I will point out, something that not everyone is aware of, perhaps, but technically because the rule is you reroll failed hits and failed wounds, right?
That is correct.
So a failed, and this we could get into a huge rules debate here, but a failed hit roll on a marine is only you're rerolling ones and twos.
That is correct.
Okay. Not everybody sees it that way. Some people think that you can reroll threes and fours if that's a miss as well.
Oh, okay, okay. Hang on, I see what you
Okay.
mean. Hmm.
Right, so
Well,
yeah,
okay,
so
but yes, but
yep,
there's okay, but are you including because the fact is that it's a single failed hit roll and a single failed wound roll, not a
sure.
single failed unmodified hit roll or a single failed unmodified wound roll.
Yep, so uh there's a pretty clear piece of text that says you uh I don't have the text in front of me, so I'm 100% misquoting what it actually says. But the gist of it is that it says you you only apply modifiers after rerolls. So if something is ever reroller failed, and for example with the hit roll, the modifier to the hit roll is applied after you can decide whether or not to reroll it.
Oh, yeah, I see it now in the core rulebook.
Yeah,
Rerolls. You can never reroll a dice more than once, and rerolls happen before modifiers, if any, are applied. You know what? You are. Oh, in that case, I stand corrected. You are right.
yeah. So there are a few hiccups with that, but I do believe that's the way it's supposed to be played. It definitely makes the
It's just
salamanders
that's very
rule make more sense.
yes, it's just very confusing, of course, because unfortunately, GW has not really been consistent with their wording sometimes, or just the core rulebook. For example, salamanders. If you look at the Imperial Guard, one of their traits, Cadian born soldiers, reroll unmodified hit rolls of 1. So it kind of just implies that salamanders is you can reroll modified hit rolls, and then Cadian you have to reroll unmodified ones. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I agree. there are weird things, but that's GW all
No, okay,
over,
but that's a
isn't it?
that's a good catch. I'm gonna have to remember that. Wow, we've been playing this game for what, more than a year, and we're still finding new rules. It's
uh, Again, there are people that dispute that, so that is one of those contentious
oh
ones.
really? How do they
Y-
dispute it?
Yeah, I like to think it's very clear because it says it right there, as you just read it from the rulebook. But
Yeah, no,
mm,
it's quite clear there. I don't see how you can contend it.
people have in the Discord. I don't know. I'll leave it up to them.
Well, no, yeah, well, yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, I'm a member of the Discord. I only read. I never really bother to comment because if I'm being honest, and I know people are gonna piss on me for this, but the quality of the Discord people are like, you got some people who know what they're talking about, and you got people who don't know what they're talking about. That's just a fact.
Um, yeah, I mean, not everybody's as good as everybody else, but I do think that generally, or from what I see, I don't actually comment in the rules section that much because I make my mind up, and then I know that there's a lot of people that just will not change their mind no matter what I say. So I just don't message really in that
Fair
section.
enough. It's like one of that discussion regarding the demons about how blue horrors and brimstone horrors are psychers. Have you been hearing that discussion?
I haven't read all of it, but I caught a little bit
Okay,
at
the
the end
gist
just
of it.
now. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, the gist of it is essentially if you look at the demons page, obviously the demons profile includes the pink horror, blue horrors, brimstone horrors. When you kill the pink, it splits into two blues.
Yeah,
Blue
sure.
becomes a brimstone, and then so forth, so forth. And under the profile under Psyker, it simply says this model is a Psyker, blah, and then so forth, so forth, so forth. And because of how general
Okay.
it is, people presume that that means pink, blue horrors, and brimstone horrors are therefore Psykers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
Are they
just
not?
quite general because people think no, they're not supposed to be.
Wait. Who is supposed to be a psycho? The pink.
The pink horror, because when you kill the pink horror, he then splits into two blue horrors, and they don't have any equipments and no weapons. But then people say because the profile in it says this pink horror, no, sorry, this model, it doesn't specify which model is a psyker. Therefore, they believe it's an umbrella term that all horrors, regardless of what type of horror they are, is a psyker. Which means now instead of one
Right.
psyker, you now have two psykers, and so forth.
Interesting. So, correct me if I'm mistaken here, but also under the demon profile, they don't have the keyword psycho, right?
I actually don't have that in front of me, so
Because I
I
would
could be
argue
wrong.
if the keyword psycho is there, then the keyword applies to everybody there unless it specifies not. But potentially, I don't know. I haven't read enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, no worries. Actually,
niche
I'm
rules.
just bringing that PDF up right now. Actually, let's
Oh, okay.
see. They do not have the keyword psyker,
I could see it
or
from your
sorry, they
interpretation.
have the psyker, and it says this model can attempt to manifest one psychic power and attempt to deny one psychic power. Blah 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 blah. But otherwise, under the faction keyword and keywords, it does not have psyker.
Whoa,
So,
yeah.
so it's been a big argument. My money is on that. No, the intended term is that only pink horrors are the psychers, because the blue horrors, they don't shoot the coruscating flames. They don't have equipments or weapons, and I'm of the opinion they should not have psychic power, because at that you're just saying then they have infinite psychers, so to speak, even if they can only cast
Mm,
one psychic power a turn.
gosh. You know what? I am definitely not gonna. I would have to go through and read all of the arguments before I could decide which way I would lean on that. Um, because
No, fair enough, fair enough. Do your research, man. But
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little bit of an argument for sure.
Sure. Okay, well, yeah. That wacky Discord. They do like to have some
Wacky
arguments.
Discord. No,
Yeah.
I feel like that Discord is just a pile of whose rule is right, whose rule isn't right.
Well, to be fair though, there's no other way of figuring these rules out. You know, like you
Definitely,
do just have to get down in the mud and argue your case. Because
definitely.
otherwise, well, GW hasn't helped us. They haven't given us an FAQ, so we have to figure it out.
Yeah, Yeah, GW is too bloody slow in these FAQ things. Like how hard it is for them to type up a Word doc that says, yes, they are all psychers, or no, they are not all psychers.
Oh, I know. Well,
It's just laughable.
they haven't even fixed the rack stat sheet, have they? So
Or the crude rifle.
yeah, they.
I kind of hope they don't,
Oh,
but
well, yeah, I'd be okay with them not fixing that one actually.
I know it's just so
Yeah.
funny to imagine the crisis suit holding three crude rifles.
Somebody pointed out, I think it's something ridiculous. Like if you do give them three crew rifles, it makes them like strength 9 or something stupid. And then
I don't think it works that way, but I could be wrong. In any case, it's just something funny to think about.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, back onto the topic of
Anyway,
Necrons. I forgot where we
yes,
were exactly, but
we were only talking about the dynastic code. So
I
I guess the question
felt that
is, are
we
we done with that?
finished. Yeah, I think we covered those. We're both happy with Mefrit and Novok, and after that it gets a little bit hazy, and it really is as simple. Yes, that's what we were saying. Yes, it really
Yes,
is as
Necrons.
simple as it
It's just
looks.
simple. There's the Necrons are just not interesting. They're boring, if you will. Like they're cool and fluff,
Hmm.
but on tabletop, they're really not the most interesting race to play with, unfortunately.
Sadly, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Nope. So I think we both agree on that. So, okay, before we get into the new elite units, I do have to ask, and I'm sure I know the answer, but when it comes to the new tactics that the Necrons got, because actually, obviously, we had a kill team expansion, but since now the last time we spoke, I believe, and we
Yes,
then had quite a few of those tactics solidified into the elites book, which is really good.
that is correct.
Um, However, we also got two new ones, which are our versions of the deep strike ones. One of them being for three flayed ones, and one of them being for three death mark.
That is correct.
Does this make you? Have you got a death mark in the list yet, Chuck?
Never. I will
Okay,
never have a death mark. They cost too much. Their guns are too ineffective, even if you give them AP1, because then you just make them over expensive Necron warriors. And with the hopes that one day they might cause a mortal wound with their gun.
that's the dream. Yes, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I thought I'd ask because I thought, who knows, maybe dropping three death mark right behind the enemy leader.
It
Maybe that would be
depends.
it.
It really depends on the situation. I mean, I have tried. I mean, don't let the listeners think I haven't. I'm close-minded that I haven't tried it on the board. The problem with deep striking behind the enemy is that it really depends on A, if you're playing the long edge deployment or the short edge deployment, because B, your opponent might deploy in such a way to prevent you from deep striking, right? Because you have to set up more than 5 inches away from your enemy model. And C, even if you do deep strike behind them, chances are, based on that bubble of you can't place a model there, your models may or may not be out of the open. And against a Space Marine or a Tau gun line, that's pretty much a death sentence.
Yep, yep. No, so I actually have done a shockingly large amount of test games, dropping three death mark in for me, which means I've played like twice.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and it. So the thing is, I thought the list would suck. I genuinely did
Yes.
because three death marks, right? Now this was being done at
Yes.
125, and I did it
Mm-hmm.
against Grey Knights the
Oh
first
yeah, no,
time.
no, no. One thing I need to note is
Yeah,
that I do my games at 100 because I'm preparing for SoCal. So I haven't done it quite at 125 except for fun and just to
SoCal's
mess around.
125 though.
Oh, I thought it's 100.
I'm pretty sure SoCal's 125 unless that changed recently. Nova is 100.
Oh no, no, we're talking about the last week of August this month, right?
Oh
The weekend.
no, no. I was thinking the last week of October. I apologize. I got that completely wrong.
No, not October. I'm talking about the
Right.
August one. Sorry.
Oh, is there another
Yeah,
one
no,
also
that
called SoCal? That's confusing.
no. Oh, I must have gotten the name wrong. Sorry. No, it's at the end of August. Big ass tournament going there. They're still locked in at 100 points.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, so sorry, we've been talking about two different things. So no, I've been
we have
preparing for
here.
that one. I won't be
Okay.
going to the October one because I'll be working, and unfortunately, my schedule doesn't fit.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
might try, but most likely, I will not be going.
no, sure, sure. Okay, so you're working at 100 points. So obviously taking
Yes, so
45 points of death marks is, yeah, understandably a
it's a
touch
big
risky.
sink still.
Yeah,
Yeah, now
yeah,
if it was 125 points, then I can start seeing the value of, like you said, three death marks behind the enemy or three flayed ones. I can then see the
yeah,
value of that. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Um, anyway, in this particular anecdote I'm telling, I dropped these 3 death mark behind a Grey Knight player and managed to get like 2 mortal wounds off, killing 2 of his guys, and then I also had a good shooting save and I tabled him turn 1. It was amazing. Um, weirdly, it
Well,
didn't repeat
okay,
that
but to be
success in
fair
a
though, it's
tournament.
against Grey Knights. I don't have to teleport behind them, and I can still probably table them on turn one with my immortal shooting.
Yeah, that is also true. Yeah.
Yeah, no. If you did that against, the Dark Eldars or the Taus or the Death Guards or those top metas, then I will be very convinced by your argument.
Well, um, good luck. I don't think I'm
Yeah.
gonna convince you in that case. Yeah.
No, it's against them. It's oof. Good luck as a
No, of
Necron
course.
player.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But
It's tough. It's
okay.
an uphill fight. I mean, you might win, but it's an uphill fight regardless.
Yeah, you're relying on their bad dice, your good dice. Yeah.
And
Uh,
good tactics too.
oh, I don't have those, so that wouldn't work for me. Okay. So that's death marks. Do
Yes.
you see any value in dropping in 3 flayed ones?
I mean, for one, at least they don't have to huffle all the way, because at least by doing the haunting, they are, a 6-inch charge range to the end or 5-inch charge range to the enemy, which is amazing.
Yes,
However,
indeed. Yeah.
they do need to survive the shooting on the turn they arrive, and you have to hope that where you're placing them there is obscurity and cover, because if not, they will die. But if they can survive that, next turn, if you have the initiative, oh, that's some sweet charging happening right there.
Yes, it can be a really useful way of doing it because, of course, a lot of people think for the drop that, oh, you've got to get that shot off, and if you don't get that shot off, then you've got to just sit there and take a turn of firing before you can charge. But you can just drop your 5 guys out of line of sight because it's the end of the movement phase, and then you can just do nothing
Yeah,
for a
and you
turn
don't
and
have to worry
charge.
about them being charged. But of course, of course, surviving being shot at, that's the greatest danger when you use the haunting horrors. And not to mention, you have to hope there is place for you to put them. Because obviously, in an ideal world, you would place it behind enemy lines, but that's not always the case. Because sometimes behind the enemy lines means, yeah, you're behind them, but you're out in the open and getting shot to death. That's a big no-no as a Necron. So sometimes it's better to just put it actually in front of the enemy, but more than 5 inches. So then next turn you can actually get that charge off as opposed to advancing. If and that's assuming if the table is like the short edge deployment where the table is very long and you actually have to huff all the way across the board edge to get to them.
Fair, fair. I actually, again, purely anecdotal, and again in 125 points, managed to deep strike 3 flayed ones to massively good effect. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it just went amazingly
Oh,
well.
I have no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Against two, if you don't mind me asking.
Adeptus Astartes, they were playing the Raven Boys, whatever those guys are called.
The Raven Guards, yeah.
That's the one,
Let's
the
see.
guards.
Oh, that chapter trait. Yes, it's I find that to be underwhelming.
Useless? Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Use
Terrible. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like obscure when your enemy's more than 12 inches away. Like, yeah, sure, but how often is that going to happen? And with that much
Oh,
cover,
indeed.
you're pretty much already obscured.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those ones they ported over straight from 40k without remembering that They are completely not just different rule sets, but different play metas.
Play style.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, and a
it's
different
completely
terrain
different.
setting, all that stuff. It's
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
short range combat. Like if
yeah.
they made it to 6 inches, I can see a value to that. I could say, okay, that's a pretty good tactic.
Oh yeah, like if we were playing on a full 6x4, actually not a bad tactic. Yeah, giving the
Yeah,
entire
and
enemy
and and
army -1 to hit.
yeah, and then essentially, like they won't get the +1 to injury roll because if they're not within 1 inch of an obscuring terrain that's providing a cover, but at least it's harder to hit them. And thematically, it's pretty good, I would argue.
Oh, thematically, it's great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
some stuff they should have poured on better. I don't know who wrote some of these stuff, but I really feel like whoever wrote this does not play Kill Team competitive or just play Kill Team properly. You know?
I was gonna say, yeah, you didn't need to add competitively. I think they just don't play kill team. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say competitively, but I was like, no, just
Nah.
Kill Team. Period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On a serious note, though, they probably don't. Like, which sucks to say, but I,
Well, actually, the funny thing is, one of my friend Eric, the Dark Eldar player,
yep.
he told me that supposedly the playtesters they play this a lot, and they actually are very familiar with Kill Team. But the final decision to whether or not their suggestion is taken and actually implemented still rests in GW's hand. So they
Yes.
unfortunately the final say is not in the playtesters. So to be fair, they might have brought up certain concerns, but it's just ignored.
Oh
In
no,
which case, I
100%. Yeah.
actually feel sorry for them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I would never say a bad word about the playtesters. Like
No, no, because
they don't have any
they're
choice.
smart fellas.
I mean, I haven't
Yeah,
met
so
them,
no,
but
no, I'm
probably.
not grabbing on them. I'm grabbing on the whoever decided, who put the final decision to say this or that.
Oh, no, 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 Jack. It goes way higher than that. I blame
Oh yeah,
GW as a corporation because they only employ like 5 rules writers or 6. Like, it's a genuinely small team for all of their games.
I I don't mind a small. I don't mind if it's 6 people just for kill team, but for other games, it's like wow, you need more
Uh,
people, man.
it is genuinely a small team. I think it's between 5 and 8. I'm not entirely sure for every single system they have. So those, let's be
The same
generous. Let's
people
say
or
10
different people.
people. No, no, all the same. Let's be generous and say they have 10 rules writers. That is for Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Kill Team, Adeptus Titanicus, Blood Bowl, Age of Sigmar, 40k, Kill Team, everything. Everything
Hey,
is
hey,
done
hey!
by them.
Don't you trash talk Blood Bowl? That's a classic, and I won't have
Hey,
you trash talking it, even if I suck at it.
no trash talk here. I'm just saying whoever wrote that was also at the same time writing the new Stormcast Eternals, and at the same time the new Titan in Adeptus Titanicus, and at the same time the new
No,
Warband
no.
in Shadespire.
Yeah, no, I can. They're just getting overwhelmed by so much different things they have to write. I can see why there's so much confusion and miswriting. It's just such a shame. Kill Team really could be really amazing.
I think they've done a decent job. All things considered,
Oh, they've done a decent
they've
job.
done a decent
All
job.
things considered.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just need to. They just need to. I just wish we could. I just wish we could give more to this rule. Like heck, I'm almost tempted to do this for free. Like you don't have to pay me nothing. Just let me fix your book.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of people talk about doing that, and I would. I'd happily do it, but I wouldn't like. I'm
Yeah, but
weird and I
GW.
want to do other things as well. Like I want to make it like blended with Warcry, so there's alternating activations and all that stuff. So yeah, I'd just
Right,
make a
right.
different game.
For me, I just want to fix the leadership penalty for the leadership tests.
What's that?
Oh, you know the one. You know the one. To see the break test morale phase. To see if your team is shaken, your model is shaken, and if your team's
Yeah.
broken.
What, you can't re-roll it?
No, no,
Or
no. For me, I think because right now it's -1 penalty for every model that's a leadership check when you have a model that's flesh wounded, shaken or dead. Right? No, shaken or dead. Sorry.
um It's -1 for every model you've. No, wait, hold on. The break
When you have a model
test.
that's flesh wounded,
Yeah,
they take a nerf check. Sorry, the nerf check.
yeah,
That's
the
what I
nerve
mean.
check.
Sorry, the
Okay.
nerf
Yeah,
test.
yeah.
Yeah, you get
So
a -1 for each friendly model. Sorry, +1 leadership that is shaken or is out of action.
no, only out of action. Oh, yeah, no, it's only out of action. It doesn't matter if there are other models near you that are shaken.
Each other friendly model that is shaken or is out of action, it gives +1 to the leadership to the nerf test. It actually says right here.
What? Oh, okay. So every time, clearly, I should learn the rules of the game that I'm making YouTube content about.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
because right now the fact is that
Oh, I didn't know that.
because if you yeah, because the fact is when you have a lot of bodies or people, because right now the current morale phase is very detrimental to people who play Horde art, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously you have a lot of disposable people, a lot of people die, and all the other survivors have such a giant leadership penalty that they just crumble and die and can't do anything.
Yes, indeed. And then you get a cascading effect. Right. Right.
Yes, essentially.
I
Yeah,
would like
I've thought
to.
about what I would do to change that. Haven't set it in stone. Might talk about it later, but I don't think that's part of the discussion right now, is it? Or unless you're actually interested in listening.
No, I was just about to explain to the viewers that are now shaking their heads at my lack of knowledge of
Oh
how
yeah,
the
sure. Go ahead.
goddamn morale phase works. Okay, I'm gonna do it, right? When the morale phase came out, me and my playgroup played it as for every flesh wound that was a minus to your leadership. That's how we thought it played, right? So if you had
Oh
three
dear.
flesh wounds, we thought it was -3 to your leadership. Then we realized that wasn't right, and the leadership no, sorry, the shaken, not a shaken, a flesh wound was just a marker saying this unit must take a leadership test. And then we had, for some reason, just completely blanked over the fact that other shaken models in your kill team affect your leadership. We had thought it was only models that were already dead. So there you go.
And they're cumulative too
Oh
per
yes.
tests.
No, yes.
Yeah.
We had that down. But
Okay.
yeah. There you go. Awkward. Anyway,
Awkward. Don't worry. We all make mistakes.
oh gosh. I TO'd a tournament, man. This isn't good. This
Oh
is not good.
no.
No, it's fine. It never came up. It never came up. Luckily,
Yeah, that's
apparently.
true. But still, oh my goodness. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I TO'd a tournament too, and I have one moment where I mess up too, where I forgot the rules.
Oh, it happens to us all. Happens to us all. And luckily, you're the TO, so they can't argue with you. Okay, so anyway, let's get back on track a little bit. So we
Yes.
haven't even gone over the new units for Necrons. Shall we do that?
Yes, please.
Oh, oh,
Actually, have we
oh.
gone over the tactics, or do you
No,
think that does
we
not
can
matter?
do
I
that. We
guess.
can do that. I don't have the book in front of me, but feel free to
Okay, I have the book
discuss.
in front of me, so that
Yeah,
helps.
go for it.
Okay, so pretty much, Necrons got almost all the tactics they would have received from the kill box for Necrons, or what was that the box set called? The one that came with the
Yeah, the kill zone expansion. I
there we go, the
can't
kill
remember what
zone
they were actually called though. Yeah.
expansion. Yes, but it was for the Necrons, and in it obviously came 6 new tactic cards. Swanking, overpowered, and then they
Yeah.
decided to add some of them into the elite and make it finalized. Obviously, they cut out some of the ones that were a little too powerful, but they kept most of it in. For example, Deathless Ire, where you can treat a flesh wound as a shaken instead for 2 command points. Pretty good if you want to avoid that flesh wound. It
Yes,
has the
definitely. Yeah.
Assured Disintegration for 1 command point, where a Death Mark can reroll hit rolls, which is not bad, I will admit.
Yeah.
Entropic Strike for in a fight phase for 1 command point, where if you reduce a target to 0 wounds, you add 1 to the injury roll you make for the target. Really good for close combat flayed ones.
Yep, indeed. Now, out of curiosity, when do you declare that?
Sorry, you broke out a little bit. What did you say?
When do you declare that you're using that tactic?
You use that tactic when you choose a model to fight.
Okay, sure. So
Yeah, so
you
before you
have
roll the
to
dice.
hope
So
you actually get to the injury roll, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. But it really helps to guarantee someone dies. Combine
Yeah,
that with the
definitely.
tactical reroll, boom,
Yep,
dead. All but
yep.
guaranteed.
But that's 2 CP?
Let's see. That's 1 CP
1 CP.
actually,
Oh,
very cheap.
okay. All right.
Yeah. Tireless Advance. For 1 CP, use it in the shooting phase. One of your model is readied and may shoot in this phase as if they had not moved. It's okay. I mean, you ready a model, you shoot ahead of time, but it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, the Resurrection Protocol, which is used only on the leader specialist. When they are slain, instead of removing the model, place it on its side for 2 command points. At the end of the phase, roll a d6. On a 4-up, the model is no longer slain and comes back from the dead with 1 wound remaining. And you can only use this once per battle.
Yeah, so it's the standard do not die that most factions get, and that everybody wishes was death denied because for everybody else you have to roll a 4 or a 5 up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, that's one of my gripe against everything in here. Because Space Marine is the only faction that has the guaranteed do not die for 2 command points, whereas everyone else for 2 command points has to roll for it 50-50. I feel this is
Mm,
like it's very unfair if we're being honest here.
it is. Okay, well, what if I tell you, as most people know by now, that Nova is ruling that death denied will be 3 CP? Are you
Yes, I have
aware of
heard of
that?
that, and
Okay,
I'm very aware of that rule. I'm also
okay,
aware that if you look at the demon in the White Dwarf, the demons, their
yeah.
tactic is suffered the worst of both problems. Is that their ability is also on a 4-up, the model doesn't die, but it costs 3 command points.
Oh, wow. Really?
So they got the worst of both worlds.
Oh, gosh.
So I know. So I really don't know who's writing these rules, but clearly they really did not play Kill Team, or whoever's calling the shots does not know what he's doing.
No, that's a bit weird. That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
I actually
but
didn't
yeah.
know
So
that
the
then.
only Yeah. So the only 2 tactics, 2 or it was 3, I forgot. Sorry, but I know one of the tactics that are making it into this book was from the original book was that for 1 command point, a Necron model can immediately fire his gun again after he has resolved his shooting.
That's a really good CP. Let's be honest.
I know for 1 command point,
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
crazy.
good. And I know it's unbalanced, but deep down I really hoped it made it in because I'm Necron.
Oh, yeah,
Like, give
yeah,
us something.
yeah.
Throw us a bone, man. Like, give us something.
That, yeah, I mean, that would have been. The thing is, some factions do have that. You can just attack again in the fight phase, or
Yeah, attack again, shoot again. And it just seems sad that we don't get that.
yeah. I don't really know GW's reasoning behind why some factions get that, some factions don't, but they
Well,
obviously
no, no,
chose
no,
Necrons don't.
no. I know the reasoning. It's essentially Space Marines get all the cool stuff, all the powerful rules, and then every other faction gets what's left.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Yep, correct.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
sounds about right, honestly.
Well, Space Marines are the poster boys. They get to have the fun toys.
Yeah,
Oh, you know
that's a
what? You
shame.
haven't heard it yet because I obviously only just recorded it like an hour ago with Michael.
Okay.
Hopefully, he actually had something to say about Space Marine players. He said that
Oh, does he now?
in general, Space Marine players are worse than every other player.
Yeah, no, no. I agree with him.
Why? What's your reasoning?
Well, my reasoning is that because Space Marine has the most exposure, has the most everything, has the most publicity too. The Space Marine tends to be the army faction that a vast majority of people go to. So all the good players, but also a lot of the bad players. Then we go to the other. Then people tend to gravitate from it and go to other factions, like Necrons or Orcs or Tyranids, that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's basically what he said. I mean, roughly.
Yeah,
So,
so it's not so much that Space Marine players are bad. It's just they have such a larger player pool that they have just as much good player as they have bad players.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, let's power through. Let's power through and
Yes.
finally actually talk about the new. Oh, I suppose we don't care about commanders, right?
No, I don't care
No,
about
cool.
commanders at all. It's not in
Okay.
it's in the commanders book. The
No,
elites
yeah,
don't have commanders, or
no.
Necrons at least.
Okay, that's fine. We don't need to discuss it then. All right,
No, I actually
let's.
never cared about commanders at all. Not for
No,
competitive because it's impossible to balance them. So it's like I don't care what commander
sure.
rules are. I just care about the elites.
Okay, okay. Let's talk elites. Which one do you want to tackle
Hmm.
first?
Well, there's really just two flavors: Lich Guard and Triarch Praetorian. The
Yeah?
difference is one can fly, one has to walk. That's really it.
No. What? They're completely different. I thought they are completely different models in my mind. Surely.
Okay. I guess if you want to be very specific, yes, they are completely different
Okay.
models. But
No,
for
you're
my
right.
purpose,
Stat
where I
line.
see them as a competitive player, put him on a field, they're pretty much the same model, except one has 5 inch, one has 10 inch. That's really it.
Yeah, but
Because
one's
let's put it
coming
this
at
way.
you with the damage to war scythe, strength 7.
Uh, yeah, strength 7, AP 4. The
Yeah.
other one, however, will have a much easier time getting to where he needs to go, and he can shoot.
Yeah, he's got a
And his shooting
pistol
gun's not
or an
too bad.
assault,
Strength
right?
5, AP 3. One shot only is
Yeah.
going to hurt. And so really,
So
it's just a difference of profile of weapons and of course points because the Praetorian is 26 points naked.
yeah, he's not cheap. Um,
He's not cheap.
so at 100 points, would you take him, the Praetorian?
I don't. I mean, I think an argument can be made to take the Lich Guard, but I don't know if I would take the Praetorian to be honest. Because in terms of mathematics, if you will, a Lich Guard, with just War Scythe. Let's say I don't give him the Dispersion Shield. Let's say I'm very confident that he won't get shot by a last cannon, but so Lich Guard, 20 points. He's pretty much two flayed ones rolled into one dude. But to be fair, the Lich Guard has a toughness 5, 2 wounds, 3 up armor save, and he hits much harder, much harder than a flayed one.
So that's actually what I was going to say. Like a very common Necron list is what is it? 5 immortals and 2 flayed ones, or is it 4 immortals?
I think it was 5. I think it was 5 immortals, 2 flayed ones. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I actually just came back from a vacation, so I haven't played Kill Team for a little while. I'm slowly getting back into it.
Oh, I believe it's
Yes,
5.
five
5
immortals,
immortals.
5 immortals, 2 flayed ones. That's correct.
Yeah, that's like the bog standard all-comer Necron list. However, thanks to elites, we have the option of doing a straight swap of 2 flayed ones for 1 Lich Guard. Do you do it?
Actually, I think I've mentioned before in a previous interview with you that my all-comer list is actually 2 immortals, 3 warriors, and 3 flayed ones. Because I get more bodies onto the field, it gives me more variety, and then of course I go 5 immortals and 2 flayed ones if I feel like I'm going hardcore against a space marine enemy. Now that said, would I do it in my all-comers list where I have the 2 immortals, 3 warriors, and 3 flayed ones? Yes, I think I would replace 2 flayed ones with um, a lich
A
guard
Lich Guard,
if
yeah.
I feel it is justified to do so.
Okay. So I mean, I was going to say presumably you wouldn't do it against a horde team because you don't need the damage 2 or because you don't need the strength 7, AP minus 4.
Against a horde team, I would take a crap load more flayed ones.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But then against an
Yeah.
elite
Well, I
team,
would take
you'd
more
lean
shooting.
towards the Lich
Once
Guard.
again, it depends what. I guess it depends what kind of horde shooting is. Sorry, you were saying something. I accidentally spoke over you.
Oh, I was saying, but then presumably against an elite team like Marines or something, you'd favour the Lich Guard.
I probably would, though it would depend on what kind of weapon I think he's going to bring. If the guys bring in a lot of missile launchers, a lot of multi-damaging weapons, which they are wont to do, I might have some guard without a dispersion shield or something, because he is going to get blown up, and I'm going to have to hope he rolls high on the injury roll. Actually, that is actually one good thing about the Lich Guard, is because he still has reanimation protocol, which means opponents are going to want to bring the heavy multi-damage weapon against it. But multi-damage plays towards our strength, which is
Yes.
reanimation. And so
Yes.
ironically, you could just walk. I have walked the Lich Guard out there without Dispersion Shield, just his War Scythe, taunting any multi-damaging guns to shoot at him and kill him. Ironically, I think the best way to take out a Lich Guard would be mass weight of fire rather than a high priority shot, as is the case for all necks, unfortunately.
Yes. No. Yeah, I didn't feel like we needed to cover the basics of reanimation protocols for the listeners, but obviously that is Necron's strength. And I've
Yeah,
got to say,
definitely.
the reason I kind of love it is because I always feel like I roll poorly, right? I roll bad, okay?
Yes, me
And
too.
my opponent always rolls brilliantly, right? But you know what?
Always.
If they always roll brilliantly, that means they roll sixes. And if that's true, I never die. And that is my
Yeah,
logic.
yeah, but yes, yes. But of course, you have to hope they roll sixes at the right time.
Well, yes, of course, yeah. But
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
that's my logic.
it reminds me of this my first competitive game I was playing at Las Vegas, where I went up against the AdMech Plasma Spam, and so it was very interesting because he was rolling a lot of sixes. Because as you know, AdMech, every models they have has a 6-up invulnerable save due to their bionics, and he was just making those invuln saves willy nilly, and it was just pissing me off. But at the same time, his plasma guns were constantly triggering my reanimation protocol because he was rolling sixes all the time. And that was the one game I genuinely thought his dice was weighted. But because it was happening on both sides, it was really funny in hindsight. So it was just a game of no one is dying because you're bionics and I keep coming back from the dead.
Ah, I've had those types of games as well where I'm like, use my dice. No, really, come on. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so I got us a little bit sidetracked there with a side question to the Lich Guard.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. It's just yeah, no. My problem, however, with Lichguard is that is the fact that War Scythe no longer has the reroll invulnerable save like they used to in the very, very old. Because back then, the whole point of War Scythe was it used to be it ignored invulnerable saves. Then it was force your opponent to reroll successful invulnerable save. They don't have that anymore.
Oh, okay,
Whereas if you
same
look
as
at
the
the Death Watch,
Xenophase Blade then.
what
Yeah.
exactly when you look at a Death Watch team though, with their Xenophase Blade, which is literally Necron tech, they still have that ability. So it's
Yes,
just like,
that is quite funny.
why have we been exporting all the good stuff from Necronland and keeping all the shitty toys for ourselves? It's like, what's going on here, man?
Well, as you say, Marines get all the good toys, don't they? Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's like they're even taking our good toys. It's
I know. Yeah, that is a bit of a weird one. I'll give you that. Did we really cover the Dispersion Shield? Do you want to give the guys a rundown of what that actually is?
it's just a 4-up invulnerable save. It just makes your guys able to soak up a crap load of damage.
Yeah, and you swap out the War Scythe for a Dispersion Shield and a something axe, is it called?
You take let's see. Sorry, I believe you take I have the book. Here we go. If you take the Dispersion Shield, then you have to take a Hyperphase Sword with it instead of the War Scythe. And a Hyperphase Sword is pretty much just +1 Strength, AP3 damage. So a Strength 6
Yeah.
AP3 sword, not bad honestly, but
Not
not the
bad, but a
worst
damage
side.
one. Damage one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then, of course, the Shield gives you the 4-up invuln. But
Yes,
it does
superior
cost you
defenses against
5
any kind of AP.
points,
Yes, so your Lich Guard becomes 25 points instead of 20 points,
which is
and
big.
that's where I start. That's where I start thinking, do I really want to take it. And honestly, I don't see personally. I know I'm biased because I'm a Necron player. I don't know why you should be charging for Dispersion Shield. Like you're trading killing. You're pretty much trading killing power for more protection.
I actually agree. I think because you're making a direct trade, you can't kill things as good, but you are better protected. So why is it costing 5 points?
5 major points. Like I know.
Yeah,
And once again, I'm going on a tangent again. But if you look at the Space Marines for their veteran teams, like veteran squad, you like their ranged weapon options. Like if you look at some of their options, 13 points for a last cannon, 12 points for a plasma cannon. Like even a tactical squad don't have to pay that much. Why do they? Like I know I don't like Space Marine, but I don't agree with the point cost for their heavy weapons like that. It's just
no,
too much.
I agree. I suspect I will never ever see a las cannon on the board.
Which is a shame because the last cannon is no superior than to say the Dark Eldar
Yeah, I
Darklands,
know.
which is which the stats is actually better than the last cannon, but it
I
costs
know.
what 3 points was it? Two
It's
points? I
ridiculous.
forgot. It was cheap,
Yeah, yeah.
and they have it at 13 points. It's like what?
Yeah, I feel like they really messed up that pricing. I mean,
I think they were trying to balance. I think they just
yeah,
didn't want
yeah, of
people to
course.
say spam last cannons or stuff, and I can respect that, but I
Oh,
think they went
definitely.
too far.
I mean, I can accept that they wanted to put a premium on the loadout and equipment for all elites. They've said, hey, if you want to kit out your elites really well, it's going to cost you a little bit more than if you kit out a standard TAC Marine. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
and yeah, and I mean,
fine.
and the Tribe Praetorian is the same deal as well. It's like their basic weapon is the Strength 5 AP 3 shooting, one shot, and close combat. And then for 1 point, they take a Void Blade, which gives them an extra attack. Okay, but then they have a shittier shooting, but they still charge that one extra point. I know it's only 1 point, but it still missed me because you're just trading one extra close combat for a shittier pistol, so to speak.
Yes, it's odd that they
It's
charge you to
very odd.
become worse. Yeah. Um,
Exactly. And well, actually, no, better in close combat, but worse in shooting. Whereas their original
yeah.
setup is okay in combat, but not bad, pretty good in shooting.
So the Triarch Praetorian at 100 points, are you ever taking it?
No, never. Unless I was playing for fun against a space marine. I was like, hey, guess what? My Necron's moving 10 inches. Hey, just to surprise him, but before he
Yeah.
dies, of course. And I think it's just funny because, well, no, not the flying part, but for the Triarch Praetorian, they have the a purpose unshakable, which means it automatically passes nerve test.
Yes.
That is the most pointless
Useless. Yeah,
ability
I know. I know.
on a Praetorian in Kill Team. In
Yeah.
40k, I'm sure it's useful, but in Kill Team, I laugh.
Yeah, that's I don't know what they were thinking. Oh, well, no, obviously
No,
it's
because
fine to have it, right? As long as they
it's fine
didn't
to have
factor
it,
that
but
into the points cost, it's fine.
I'm almost certain they did. Why else would it be 26 points?
I know, I
If they
know,
got rid
I
of
know.
Purpose Unshakable and made it 25 points, I think I would take it.
I,
Just
you know, I'll be honest. When I first opened Elites and I looked at Necrons and I checked out the the Praetorian, I was looking at it and I was like, I don't think I would ever take this. And I haven't really heard anybody saying anything otherwise. I was kind
in
of
all
hoping
honesty,
you were going to come on and be like, Glass, you're missing it. You're missing the big picture. And you were going to say, this is when I would take it. And I say, Chuck, you've blown me away. Amazing. Um,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, but let me put it this way. At
Okay.
100 points, it's not possible because, like I said, you
Sure.
just don't have that much points. At 125 points, yes, I could actually see a Praetorian being viable. Like the thing is, though, you wouldn't take, say, a Lich Guard and a Praetorian. I think you would take one
No,
or
sure.
the other.
Yeah.
But I could see the Praetorian being useful because the Praetorian brings something that the Necrons don't have, and that is a 10-inch movement. Plus advance, that guy is going places. And the fact that he's a fly model, so that means he can fall back and still shoot his pistol. granted one shot, but it's going to hurt whoever survived combat with him in the first place.
Do you really want to be flying back? I mean, you have a good close combat weapon.
Yeah, no, most likely you wouldn't do that,
Yeah,
but
but
still, not.
you could. Yeah, it's true.
But in the off chance, for whatever reason, you needed him to fly back to say hold an objective, or you need to fly back because the close combat is going to get too dicey in the next turn, and you want to leave them stranded in the open so you can shoot it. You probably would fly back. But it's just that
Yeah, true.
the thing is, the Praetorian brings a level of mobility that Necrons just are not known for, right? They don't have it. And then to suddenly have a Necron model that can do all this fancy stuff that everyone's eyeing the Tau gun drones, because the gun drones, 8-inch movement, fly, can
Yep,
shoot a
it's true.
lot, and is relatively tough. To have that on a toughness 5 2-wound model can be scary, especially if you don't have the guns to deal with.
Yeah, I suppose I could see you taking the Praetorian in a low risk situation if they're running a horde against you that won't have any AP. But then I don't really see it being a well, unless I suppose you're playing very aggressively to get the positional objectives,
You have to
maybe.
play aggressively.
Oh well,
As
yeah,
a as a Necron, you have to play aggressively.
that was
There
a
is You
redundant
cannot
statement
play
on
the
my
kind of
part. Yeah.
game ability to do it. The Triarch Praetorian gives you that extra mobility. And besides, against a horde army, I wouldn't be bringing the Praetorian. I'd be bringing more flayed ones. I'd rather have 3 flayed ones over a Triarch Praetorian if I'm facing against a Tyranid horde or a cultist horde or any kind of horde, frankly. But
No,
against more medium to elite tier models, I see the Praetorian being someone you can bring. Just don't bring a lot. One is more than sufficient because you need the bodies to hold objectives, flank the enemy, do all the positional stuff.
no. So the reason I said against hordes is because you have a very good chance of living. That's all. Against anything with a bit of eliteness to it, they probably have a weapon to take you off the board. And
Ah,
I
yeah.
that was more my
Well, actually,
thinking.
that's not how. Because the thing is, against a horde, I know his horde's going to be so crappy that he needs very lucky dices to kill my flayed ones. Because that's the
Sure.
case against the enemy Termagants when they try to horde. I can have 4 or 5 of them charge me, and I can be pretty confident that statistically my guy should be fine, and he will hit back harder than they hit him. And you're kind of wasting that kind of eliteness because don't forget the Triarch Praetorian doesn't have multi damage. He has an AP 3, Strength 5 close combat attack, which is much better
Yeah.
at cutting open Space Marines than being wasted on cutting open one gaunt at a time.
Okay.
And
Okay.
additionally, Praetorians don't benefit from dynastic codes, so he doesn't
Yes,
reroll
good
his
point.
hits, which he's only got 2.
Oh yeah, that's another thing though, isn't it? I mean, not that either of
Yeah,
us
that's
or any
always another thing.
serious player was thinking, "Hey, let's take this Strike Praetorian to a serious game," but they don't even get the dynastic code. Like,
Yeah, no. But to be fair though, if it was in arena, I could see myself taking a Praetorian at 125 points because then I can use him to open doors really quickly that my other models would struggle to because they only got a 5-inch movement, right?
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair, actually.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
so no, so the Praetorian is in select situations useful, but as an all-purpose model, no, you're better off using the Lich Guard.
yeah, okay. You know what? You've sold me. I think actually knowing how jank arena doors are, yeah, I can see actually a Triumph Praetorian being a genuinely good purchase in arena.
At
Yeah.
125 points in arena
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
and select open fields. But at 100 points, no, never.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Yes, but in a whole, though, essentially, Necron Elite doesn't elevate us to the next level. Not like the Eldar or the Dark Eldar or the Space Marines or the Grey Knights with their psychic buff. Jeez,
Yeah.
throwing
Yeah.
2 cycles a turn. There is no elite army that can survive that kind of.
No, you're right. Like double Cybolts against an elite team, devastating.
I know. We tried that. 100 points. My Necron against my opponent's Grey Knights. That fucker blew up Necron after Necron because it's just
Yeah. The
yeah.
the only thing I can advise, which actually is almost impossible to do with Necrons, but 2 wound models, they have the ability to soak up the Cybolts. There you go.
No, that's why you go to Lich Guard.
Yeah,
He can hopefully soak up 2
yeah,
Cybolts.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then maybe if you're lucky he'll live. But yeah, no. It's hell. Try to go through as an elite player to go against Grey Knights.
Indeed, indeed. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah, no. Necrons are pretty straightforward, so it's just the
Okay.
nuance of playing Necrons, honestly. Yeah.
Cool, cool. So
Yeah.
that's kind of Necron elites. They didn't
Yes.
get a huge amount, or no, that's wrong. They didn't get as much as some other factions got. Some other factions. Oh, Heretic Astartes. That's another one that got a very nice buff. Um,
They got an okay. Actually, I argue that the Heretic Astartes got an okay buff. The
okay.
Cow got a ridiculous buff. Let's be honest.
In which particular aspect?
In their trait, in their
Oh,
subfaction
okay.
trait aspect,
Okay.
and because the fact is, I think in only in select situation would you justify bringing in the crisis suit or the crude
Yeah.
carnivore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, the fact that their traits is just so powerful. As I mentioned before, like they can reroll ones just straight flat out without any penalty. They can now overwatch on 5s and 6s. That's amazing when you're going up against, charging armies and just ugh. It's crazy what
Okay.
or you
Okay.
can reroll all your hits on if you're within what was it, 6 inches or something? Sorry. It was
Or
this ability.
yeah, reroll your
Yeah,
misses or
reroll
something.
hit and wound rolls of 1.
Right.
If you're within 6 inch on the enemy model, put that on top on a gun drone, bull rushing the enemy. It's like, wow, that's a lot of firepower.
Yeah. Tau do what Tau do. They're gonna shoot you.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. Yeah, no,
So
and of
you.
course the Tyranids. The Tyranids got
Oh
some
yeah.
really,
Kraken.
really nasty stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Kraken and Ravagers. Yeah.
Yeah, Kraken. It's just, why would you take anything but Kraken in here? I mean, you might take Behemoth. I'll admit the rerolling charges for all your models is really
Yeah.
nice,
That's not
but
terrible.
Kraken.
Yep. Kraken is remarkably good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Leviathan is good, I think. Is it Leviathan? The one where you always count as being
Leviathan. You're talking
obscured.
about the one where? No, it is not Leviathan. It
Okay.
is. You're thinking. Sorry, you're thinking. No. You're thinking of the. Sorry, where's that stupid thing? Here we go. Jormungandr,
Oh
the
yeah,
tunnel networks. Your
Jormungandr,
models
whatever
are
it's.
considered obscured so long as they did not advance or charge.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
those are
that's
good.
that's actually that's very powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, it hampers your mobility, but it does make it so much harder for your opponents to shoot at you, even if you're out
Yeah.
in the open.
Yeah. 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 Like yeah, I think Tyranids got great sub factions. I know that
Yeah, they
everybody's
got
saying only take Kraken, but I think even if you removed Kraken, there are valid options.
Yeah, like I actually like the Leviathan, the Sonatic Imperative. Granted, it's only within 6 inches, but the fact that you're giving all models within 6 inches of funeral pain on 6 up is not bad. And
Yeah,
they don't suffer penalty for the first flesh wound, which is also not bad.
that's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people got some great subfaction traits. Some people got okay subfaction traits.
Yeah. I think though Heretic Astartes not so good on the sub faction traits, but they do
It's
get
the
the
fact that
Corn
it's the fact that their
Champion.
cultists don't benefit from subfaction legion traits, which
Yes,
is a bit of a shame
yes.
because they've got the marks and all, but no benefit.
Yeah, but do you need that now when you have Corn Berserkers?
Corn Berserkers, yes, I
Very
think they
strong.
are great. They're very strong in select situations. Yes,
Well, presumably situations in which they are in close combat.
yes.
Yes.
So then you have to ask yourself, how am I going to get these otherwise normal 6-inch moving Space Marines into close combat.
Um, charge, I guess. I mean,
Yes, yes. Well, no,
easy.
okay, no. I think no. When I think of these things, I have to think like because the thing is, you have to move them. They're going to be shot, and then you have to hope the charge gets off. Because they don't have an ability that makes their maneuverability easier to get into the close combat. There's still a
It's
normal
true.
Space Marine
It's true.
6-inch movement.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they get 1 more inch of movement over my flayed one, so they're better in that regards. But they're still Space Marine, just 3-up armor save. Actually, you know what? I am surprised kind of funeral paint against psychic attack. Like corn, you would think. Oh, are you still there?
Yes. Are you?
Yes, yes, I'm still
Oh,
there. I
good.
just didn't hear
Sorry.
anything from you.
No,
I thought
yeah.
you were.
You cut out a little bit
No
at the end
worries.
there, but no, you're right. A field no pain against psychic would have made a bit of sense. Yeah.
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 No, like I said, there's a lot of stuff they could do. I feel like they've just dumbed down kilting a little too much at certain parts. I feel like they could have added a bit more detail, you know?
I think had they really hammered something out, they could have made things not only more streamlined, but also more granular. Odd as that might sound.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. For instance, that campaign mode in the back of the core rulebook
Oh, don't even
is
read it.
just it's the most insulting campaign rules I've ever read. Like
I
the
feel
structure, the
yeah,
basic structure, but
yeah.
it's just ugh.
I feel they should have paid me to read those rules. Like,
I would have read those
not,
rules for free.
oh no, I don't mean to fix them. I mean, my time is worth money. How dare they? You know, like, it's
Yeah, no,
terrible.
I know what you mean. But we still play them, so who's the
Oh,
idiots, huh?
grudgingly, yeah. That's kind of the elite. Oh, is there anything else about elites that you feel you want to mention? Like, not specifically Necrons, just anything in elites that we haven't already covered?
There's a lot. I guess there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, if I go through one of them at a time, but I guess overall, I don't think there's anything I can say that hasn't been already mentioned beforehand.
Well, Chuck, you get to say your own piece here. What's maybe a standout unit that you've had experience with, or one that you feel others haven't picked up on yet?
That is a very, very good question. I don't think
Okay.
there is one per se. I mean, I know a lot of Tyranid players are just gushing all over for the Raveners, right?
Sure, 3 wound model, 3 attacks, 15
Yeah,
points. Yeah,
4 attacks actually at 15 points, but a 5-up
disgusting.
armor state. Yes, but it's the movement 9. Sorry, the movement 12. I think. Yes, that makes them so
Oh,
scary. And their only weakness is the fact that they're not a synapse creature.
sure.
So if you move too far, they start going on instinctive behavior.
Which
Not
isn't
that you'll ever move
terrible,
far
to
away.
be fair.
It isn't terrible, no. But if you're not within 12 inch of them and they suffer a flesh wound, at a
Yes, of
leadership
course.
5,
Yeah,
they might fail.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So it's very risky for them. But yeah, I can see why people gush over them a lot. But I don't know. Out of extra 5 points, I think I would rather just have a bare bones Tyranid warrior.
I think that's fair. To be honest, I do think that Tyranids are a great faction when it comes to their
Mm-hmm.
range of choice. Like,
Flexibility
they
and the
basically
fact they can
got
afford.
elites in the core book as well. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and honestly, I'm surprised. Mike, you said Michael might not be playing Eldar for his next tournament.
Yes. Yes. So the viewers will have already heard that from him. He might not be
Mm-hmm.
taking Azarani on one of the days. Um,
I am actually surprised when you consider that the Eldar got such a big buff in their unit selection, right?
yes. Yes.
And traits too. I'm actually very surprised because I could see Michael crushing competition with the Eldar.
Okay, but let's have some fun. Can you guess who or which faction he said he might jump over to?
Orc or Tyranid or Death Guard.
Interesting. So again, I'm gonna tell you this very quickly because everybody else would have already seen it last Monday. He said Adeptus Astartes, but then he said
Oh,
actually no, be, Tau, because he took
okay.
Adeptus
No,
Astartes and he managed to beat his own Azarani with them, but he could not beat Tau with them, playing against himself.
actually,
Yeah,
no. I'm not surprised if he picked Tau because there is a trick with a Tau where they will become very scary. As a matter of fact, with this, I'm working with my friend. Working with my friend, and he's a Tau player, and I honestly believe that he will crush competition. He will. I and actually just to overstate how much confidence I have in him, I know I will never beat him.
yeah.
Yeah, no. So actually, I'm not surprised he's going Tau. Yeah, but I guess it depends on what kind of Tau he's going. But I can probably guess or surmise, the play style, the army composition, because yeah, Tau they have
Tau very strong is
very
certainly
very strong.
what he came away with. Yeah.
No, they're very strong, and with the elite expansion, oh, they've become much stronger. I would be surprised if Michael lost with the Tau. But then again, once again, it depends on what's his exact composition. But he should have no problem.
Well, we didn't go into it that deeply, as I believe he's still testing them, and he's not decided
Yeah,
either.
and
It
I'm
was
not
just an idea.
and out of respect for my friend, I'm not going to say any more. Besides, he's playing tough. Just
Fair enough.
because obviously we don't want to give the secret away until we know it actually works.
No, sure, sure. I mean, this interview, by the way, isn't going to come out for like a month, so
Yeah, yeah, I know,
okay,
but
that's fine.
still,
That's fine.
yeah.
Um,
No, my friends already asked me not to give out the secrets. I'm not going to give it out unless he comes on in for an interview or something.
no, that's fair enough. Okay, so shall we discuss Kill Team competitive in general? Not for too long. We've already
Sure.
done an hour and a half, but um, you are, I believe, as we've covered a little bit earlier, going to an upcoming tournament. Are you taking
Yes.
Necrons? Are you taking Necrons?
I unfortunately I don't think I will.
Excellent, very exciting. So what
Not,
are you taking
not this
instead?
tournament. Thinking. I'll be honest. I'm still thinking. Hang on a moment. There we go. Okay, so I do not know yet. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking. I'm probably going to be picking one of the top meta armies this time around. Just essentially just to see if I can back up my bite, so to speak.
Sure.
Because if when I play as a Necron player, I'm already putting myself as at a handicap against other
Yes.
competitive players. So this time around, I want to try to play I guess you could say a top meta army, and see if I'm as good as I claim to be. Because if I lose with a top meta army, well, I think I know what my skill set is.
You see, that's why I don't play the top armies, because I'm expected to win then. If I never play them,
Oh,
I can always
that's
blame
true.
the faction. Smart, see?
True.
Yeah.
But in any case, once I play that once, I'll probably go back to playing Necron again. It's just for this upcoming tournament, I really want to win. I really, really want to win, and I want to see if I've got what it takes to win. So it's only fitting that I have to play a competitive army this time around. After that, though, I'll go back to playing Necron. I might try a different faction like the Eldar or the Dark Eldar. Something interesting. Something that's not top tier. Maybe
Sure.
Grey Knights. Maybe Grey Knights. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Grey Knight's really, really strong against certain factions. But just last night I was smashing my head into an Imperial Guard plasma spam list. It was incredibly frustrating. Yeah.
I'll bet.
Yeah. However, interesting point you bring up discussing the an on brand on meta faction. If you had to, gonna put you on the spot, and we're thinking 100 points tournament. The tournament you're going to is not arena, right?
The tournament I'm going to is a mix of both.
Okay,
So you have to
that's great.
bring a team that can take on both open field and arena. Yes.
I actually like that as a format. So let's stick with that. 100 points, multi-format tournament. Who do you think are the top
Arena or non-arena? Sorry.
multi-fact format? So both arena and non-arena.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So if you had to, and you do, to be clear, you do have to, say
hmm
the top three factions, how would you place them?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking earlier about, you're going to take an on-brand, on-meta army. Who's that?
You really are
Yeah,
putting me on the spot here, huh?
yeah, top three,
Well, I'm
top
gonna
three.
have to. Well, let's see. Let's assume every player is competent, knows the rules, knows
Yeah,
every
sure.
faction inside out.
Yeah, okay.
So really, the only deciding factor is what army are they bringing. Right off the bat, I would definitely say Tyranids is a top faction.
Okay.
Goes
Yep,
without saying.
fair. That's
I
one.
would say, let's see. I would say Death Guard maybe is a top faction.
They are incredibly strong. Okay, that's two.
Very strong, relatively flexible, but it's the fact that they're both elite and a horde, and they have
Yeah,
some pretty good shooting and close combat options that
yeah.
makes them a terrifying threat. Plus, they're stubborn for days. They eat bullets for days.
Yes, that
And
disgusting
then finally,
resilient.
my
Yeah,
third one is
yeah.
oh, that's a tough one. I don't know if there's a third one, but
Really?
hmm,
I feel it's more
I
like
would
there are
argue,
so many.
I would maybe say Tau.
Okay. Yeah,
Surprisingly, I think I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
Tau.
Yeah, I think
These
that's
three
fair. I
factions, I
think that's
think.
fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
every other faction can. But I mean, at the end of the day, every faction can win with good dice rolls and tactics, right?
Definitely.
But if you want to pick a faction that gives you a better odds, like push you a bit ahead of the competition, I would say those three factions.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
hmm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just because right now the game the name of the game is mostly about positionals, right? Because sure, there's killing secondary objectives, but most of the objectives have always been positionals. So
Yeah.
teams that can handle positionals well tends to be the team that has the better advantage. If this was a straight up like screw objectives, we're all about killing each other and the different ways we can kill each other, then it opens up a lot more, for discussion. But right now, those are the three factions where I feel their positioning games is very strong, very capable in comparison to other factions. I mean, I guess you could squeeze in the Eldar as well, but they're a little.
Oh, yeah. If I had to pick a top three, I don't think Eldar would make it. I've got to be
Yeah, I
honest.
mean, yes, Michael has won with it, yeah,
Yeah.
but just barely. I was actually there to see the game with him and against the Tyranid player. Like, ugh, the
Yes,
Tyranid
I know.
mistake
Yeah.
game. If he did not make that mistake, I am confident that the Tyranid would have won.
I mean, the Tyranid player did win, to be clear.
No, the Elder win. Michael, he was fighting the Tyranid player for
Against Miguel?
championship in my first tournament that I went to.
Oh, am I remembering this incorrectly? Are you sure?
Yes, he won. I was there.
Okay.
Or wait, was I mistaken? No, no, no. You know what? Maybe I think I was mistaken. Maybe the Tyranid didn't. Oh, jeez, it's been
Okay,
so
okay,
long.
okay. Let me remind you of how crazy the game was. Michael managed to take out Miguel's leader, his warrior, his only
That's
warrior,
right. No, that's
turn
the game.
one.
That's the game.
Yes.
The only
And
warrior too, which
yeah, turn one. And so it's like as soon as you hear that, you're like, oh my God, well the Tyranids must have lost, right? But
yep.
amazingly, he didn't. He didn't break. Well, I don't know if he didn't break, but he somehow managed to stay on the board, and he did. He
He
did get
didn't
a win.
break, and he didn't fail
Yeah,
certain nerve checks, which
yeah,
allowed him to stay on the board. Yes, I was
yes.
there.
There you go.
It's jaw dropping, frankly, because we all thought, "Oh, it's GG. He's lost the warrior."
Yeah, right. That would be like turn one concede from me. But yeah, no. So Michael came second with the Azerani. Not to diminish
Okay.
his accomplishments at all, of course, but technically he didn't win.
No, okay. Then yeah, no, I was probably mistaken then. For some reason, I thought he did win. Oh well.
I think a lot of people remember it as he won, because it was such
The
an
moral victory.
amazing, how did he take a nothing team and get second place? That's basically a win. Poor Miguel, though,
Yeah,
who actually won.
woof. The fact that I managed to get third place with Necrons is already amazing enough. I was just aiming for the top 10.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, that was another amazing story, which I suppose, considering it was one of the earliest actual tournaments, they shouldn't really have been
Hmm.
amazing stories. They should have just been informative, shouldn't they? They should just be like, oh, okay,
Yes.
I guess all factions are good. But we didn't take it that way.
No, no, because the fact is, just with the current setup of tournaments, certain factions just have a natural advantage.
Yes, yes, indeed,
Mm.
indeed. Okay, fair enough. Do you have any other thoughts on competitive kill team? Because I don't have any specific questions for you. I feel we've covered quite a lot about just Necrons in general and just general thoughts
Hmm.
and chats about kill team.
I guess the only thoughts I would have about competitive is just
Yeah.
maybe how the scoring could be changed. Because right now, as we've already previously alluded many times, the game places a lot of emphasis on positionals, and I can respect that because
Okay.
if it wasn't for the fact that we're being forced to, run out to hold objectives, most people's playstyle would probably look something like build a gun line, stay at home, shoot the enemy, then they will lose.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like I can respect that, but because of the overemphasis of positionals right now, I know they're slowly changing, easing it away from it, but it's still a positional game. So armies that have the bodies, armies that can move to where they need to go, and hold the spot, and tend to just do much better. You could be a very killy army like Grey Knights and Death Watch, because that's the, but you'll never win.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah. So right now it's just I just hope that hopefully in the future we could have a tournament format where it's like both kind of play styles are viable, If I want to play a killing play style, it's viable. If you want to play a positional, that's viable. But of
So
course, right now
the
I can't imagine what
argument
that would look
there
like
is,
because the balancing must be crazy for that.
the argument there is that secondaries are supposed to be giving you your killing objectives. That's where you should be able to make up the VP on positionals that you know as an elite faction you cannot get, right?
True. However, the primary objectives remains positionals as well. So in a best
Yes,
case
true.
scenario, a player gets
Even. Yeah.
primaries, which is a positional, and secondaries, which let's say for luck's sake, he got all killing. Your opponent is the same deal, then you got a 50-50. But if everything is positionals, and it does happen, then the killing army has nothing to bring on a field, and the positional army can just dominate the board edge. Because just because you're playing a positional army doesn't mean they cannot kill things. They might be best at it, but they can still kill things.
So the thing is, I'm on your side. I'm just being devil's advocate here, parroting
Of
back
course.
what other people
Of,
say in my comments. I'm
yeah, do
actually
what
on
do
your
what you gotta
side.
do.
I
Hmm.
don't get me wrong. I think that positional objectives are brilliant, and I would hate
Hmm.
to play a game in a competitive tournament that is just kill each other, like with no other way to gain VP, just kill people.
That's a horrible
That's
game,
not fun.
especially for 40k in its setting. Because
Yeah,
the fact is, people, it would just put so much emphasis then on gunline shooting, because then the melee armies would never make it into close combat. They'll just be wiped off the board edge before they even arrive.
definitely,
It's just
definitely.
I feel like for primary objectives, I feel like it should be a mix of both. And then, like you have a killing primary objective and you have a hold positional primary objective, which can both max out at, I don't know, at some point. And then your secondary objectives can be something you can gear yourself towards, so that okay, I want to gear more towards secondary positional secondary objectives, but I have both a killing primary objective and a positional primary objective. You know? Because right now
Yeah,
primary
yeah.
objectives is solely positional. So a killing army
Yes.
has no advantage and cannot gain points.
No, I agree. I'm right there with you. So what I would
Hmm.
love to see, so much like the tournament you are going to, has both open board and arena.
That is
I'd
correct.
love to see as well a mix of primary objectives. Now, I'm not saying it should be, you know, round one, there are five objectives, round two, no objectives, just kill each other. There should always be a balance. You should never just kill each other, right?
Hmm.
But, for example, as I don't think you follow this part of my content, do you know I've recently been to Kiev in Ukraine?
I do
Where,
not.
okay, so I went there and they actually play commanders competitively, right?
I've heard about it. Yes, that I've actually heard about.
Right, so they do that and they had to modify the rules to make it fair, which makes sense
Hmm.
because as we all talk
Hmm.
about, as you said just earlier today, in this interview with no prompting from me, commanders aren't balanced. So
Yes.
naturally, as the community, well, if they're not balanced, change the rules. So one of the things they have done is that if your commander gets a kill, that is one VP. And if the enemy team is double your number or more, obviously, at the beginning of the first round, then if your commander gets a kill, you get two VP. So
Hmm.
in that way, they are not only balancing Horde versus Elite, they are also adding a form of VP generation from killing that is hard baked. It's effectively a primary because it's always there. You don't have to draw it from a secondary pool.
Does it
Um,
max out?
I assume it does. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure, but yes, it must do. It must do. Um,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
then at
Do you
the
get
same,
VPs for killing the enemy's commander?
I don't think so. No,
Hmm.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Well, fair enough. You know what? We've known about
Hmm.
it for a few months now, and we've
Okay.
discussed. They do some other weird things in there. For example, I'm going to throw this curveball at you. If you activate, all commanders have an aura tactic, or almost all commanders.
Yes.
If you use
Yes.
it, you get a VP. That sounds weird, right?
That's very weird. Yes.
I know. So I'm not saying their rules are perfect, but I am saying they have a really healthy scene of like 70 people in Kiev that are all active players,
Hmm.
and they've been playing
Hmm.
with commanders since the day commanders came out. They have a
Hmm.
hell of a lot more data about commanders games than we do.
Hmm. The thing is, the thing is,
Yeah.
uh, my only issue with this is, depending on how the setup goes, what I could do, well, I mean, I don't know if they've done it, is just pick the cheapest commander, give him bare bone equipment, and then
Yes.
just take the other 200 points, what's left of the 200 points, and really spam a lot of guys. For a Necron, I could spam the crap out of so much immortals, and I could probably overwhelm the enemy. Because one of the pitfalls I see in this one is the enemy might put too much emphasis on saying building, upgrading this one commander into some beast, and then you're going to have this one commander surrounded by a shitload of guns, and he's going to get whacked out.
So my understanding is that is what you just said is how everybody played commanders
Mm-hmm.
before they introduced the balance of if your commander gets a kill, you get a VP. Because you're
Mm-hmm.
exactly right. Why would you put money into a one model that isn't really giving you anything? It's effectively a tax, right?
Yeah.
So they then
Hmm. Yeah. No.
introduced
No. Even no.
VP.
Even with the VP generation, though, is I don't I right at least I haven't played it, so I could be wrong. But I still don't feel any value from it right now.
Okay.
I mean, from a Necron player. I mean, if I play another faction, I might have a different opinion. But I don't know.
Well, fair enough. I mean,
That's definitely something for me to chew on. I'll admit that's quite a
yeah.
curveball.
Well, jump back and check out a few of my. I think I made two videos where I discussed the full rules that they play by. It's
Hmm.
interesting, and I'm as I'm kind of preaching to you now. I'm pro different formats. I'll be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not much of a Commanders player myself. I haven't played that many games with Commanders,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not against it.
Yep.
And I think what they're
Yep.
doing out there, they have a healthy scene. Good for them. They've made modifications to the base rules that have
Have they
balanced
now?
the game. Oh, well, no, just in the rules I already told you.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
ch Yeah, not the core rules, sorry, but the way that you gain VP, the meta rules, I suppose you'd
Right.
call them.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah, so they've they've done some good stuff over there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So all I was kind of trying to say there was maybe obviously we don't play with commanders. So we wouldn't use if your commander gets the kill, you get a VP, but we could have
Mm-hmm.
something along that vein, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if your leader gets a kill, maybe.
Are they still using secondary objectives?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe they have
Hmm.
some custom ones specifically that they've kind of made up for commanders. I'm not sure though. I don't know what they are.
Okay. No, yeah, no, no. And while I do support people, doing these kind of things. I mean, it's just at what point do you customize the rules so much, or modify the rules so much that it just becomes a wholly different game, right?
Okay, so no, I completely agree, but we have to do that already in our regular games
No,
because the rules aren't clear. We're customizing the rules.
no, that's true. But in this case, though, they're adding. Uh, you know what? No, I probably should read more about this rule before I make any more
Well,
judgment.
I mean, they are changing the meta rules for their tournament, right? And could you not argue that
Hmm.
alternating between an open board and an arena is changing the meta rules?
Well, yes, but the arena rules is released by GW though. This is them adjusting the rules. Like I presume they're not GW, the people who are
No, they're
making
not.
these
No, no, no.
modifications. No, the arena at least imperfect at least is say this is from GW. This
Yeah,
is how GW wants to do
sure.
stuff, so forth, right?
Did you follow the BAO done by Kill Team Academy?
I'll be honest, I don't follow any of these stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
What did they say?
Oh no, so he's Alex. He's on the Discord, obviously. I've interviewed him a few times. He ran a tournament
Mm-hmm.
recently. He used custom secondaries.
Mm-hmm. This,
Don't get me wrong, they were very heavily based on the GW ones, but they were modified.
do you remember what were they?
Oh no, I've got no idea. Um, I
Okay,
think he
got it.
modified the way bounty hunters work. That was one. Because although the way bounty hunters
Mm-hmm.
works is quite clear, it wasn't very fun to play
Mm-hmm.
and was quite restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
So he changed it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I
Interesting.
I
Okay.
more and more have become a proponent of if it makes it okay, not just fun, if it makes it more fun but is still balanced, what's the harm in changing it? Although I am
I guess.
specifically
I mean,
talking about the
I know there
meta
was one
rules.
tournament where they modified the arena rules where you could point destroy an arena door, so it could not be closed again.
So that's the
And then
SoCal
all that's
Open coming up at the end of October. That hasn't happened yet.
yeah, yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one, for instance. Like the whole point of arena
Yeah.
doors is opening and closing. And while I
Okay.
admit it's a very clumsy mechanic to work with, it like being able to just blow open a door so that it can never be closed again for one command point. I don't know. It feels like it changes the meta, the flow of the game too much.
So I actually agree with you because that is a change of a core rule, right? That's not a
Yeah,
meta
exactly.
rule. That's
And
a
then
core rule. But
yeah, and while I don't know, and while I know you said your friend they modified the uh, the secondary
yeah,
objectives. Once again, I kind of need to see the wording to see what he's modified it to see if I kind of agree with it. But like I can see why he feels like some rules need to be modified. Like because like you mentioned, bounty hunter is a very clumsy way to score a point. Like really, bounty hunter is good if you're close combat model, but if you're a shooting model, oof, good luck trying to get one.
well, no, yeah, I mean you're correct. But I forgot what I was gonna add there. But I personally don't see an issue with changing the meta rules to the game. Um, and people could just honestly just vote with your wallet. Do you like what this guy's done with changing the meta rules? Go to his tournament. Do you not like it? Don't go.
Hmm.
You know? And I
Hmm.
think by following that very simple logic, we will quite quickly find out what people like and don't like.
Yeah, I guess. And
Yeah.
then of course, yeah, and I can see with commanders why they would have such a strong showing.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit, commanders on paper does look fun to play. Bringing your big badass guy, killing people left and right. But admittedly, the tournament rules also disappointing.
Your audio's gone super far away.
Oh no, sorry, I'm
Oh, you're
back again.
back. Cool. Do you want to repeat what you just said? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, no. I don't think I was adding much with what I previously said. It's okay.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Um, yeah, no, you know, if people want to play with their toys, their commander toys, I say let them. And if you have to change a few um rules, cool. I don't see any
Yeah,
issues
no,
with
I
it.
think Yeah, no, honestly, I don't mind with the rule changing. It's just my real main gripe is the fact that because GW can't be consistent with the rules update, and they're so slow at it that people have to take these measures into their own hands, and so we have this great disparage between one people with the commanders and theirs with the elites and so forth so forth. If GW could just step up the plate and have consistent updates, good updates, then I don't think people would be doing these kind of things. We could just follow one system and everyone would be content. But as of it stands now, everyone's got to have a different system.
Um, so on the one hand, I agree with you. I think that what GW series, okay, I'm going slightly off track here, but what Games Workshop
Sure.
needs to do to keep Kill Team alive and active is to do balance patches, right? Which
Yes,
is
they have to.
exactly what games do and what living card games do and
And it's
what
something we desperately need for Kill Team.
yes yes we so okay, first off we need an FAQ. We need a fixing
Yeah, and
patch, right? They got to fix the game
it's
first.
long time. Yes.
But then in 6 months time we need a balance patch, right? We need them to come out and
Yes.
actually change points and change
Stats
something.
and yeah, everything.
Like, that's how games stay fresh.
Yeah, that's
Or
what
of
they
course,
used to
I mean,
do.
well, yes, they did. I mean, they still do it in 40k and AOS
No, they
with
still do
their,
it, but
yeah,
they used to be a little bit faster in the old days. Now it feels like they do one every year.
yeah, no, they do. They do one a year,
Yeah,
chapter
and it's
approved, and the General's Handbook, for their big games.
no, and it's and I think it's annoying because they're just doing a PDF file.
Yeah, I know,
Like
I know.
there are some stuff that is just blatantly broken or blatantly unclear. It should not take them a year to type one sentence that says no, this is supposed to be that, or yes, that is that.
I mean, I don't want to be too dramatic, but I actually think it's
No,
insulting.
okay.
I actually think it's insulting. Like,
Hmm.
that, I mean, they got the wrong stat line for racks. Do you know how quick that
Yes,
is to fix?
yes, I saw that. I didn't mention it, but yes. How? Like, this is the
Like,
kind of stuff I'm talking about, man. This is the kind of
yeah.
mm,
And
you
I
can't
don't
even
know if
copy
you've
paste right.
I know. But then, right, they did it again in White Dwarf. Right? I don't know if you know this.
What? I don't
So
know this.
Inquisitor Eisenhorn has rules now, yeah?
Oh, that I've noticed. Yes, that I've heard.
Yep, so Inquisitor Eisenhorn came out in the same issue as Demons. He has rules. That's
Yes.
cool. They gave him the wrong stat line in the printed version of White Dwarf. Yeah. However,
What?
they fixed it in the digital version, like the next day after it came out. So they
Yeah, yeah.
know how to update a PDF. We know that. They just did it with White Dwarf. Obviously, if you have the
Yes,
print
yes,
version, screw you. Um, but
yes.
they fixed it in the digital. Why couldn't they just fix, like, the whole of Commanders and Elites
Elites, and yeah, and
and
no, like
Arena?
I said, but And I
Yeah.
guess it goes back to what you said earlier. They only have 6 or 7 rule writers, so they don't have that much time. I can understand that, but you know what you get what I'm saying anyway. I don't need to belabor the point any further.
No, exactly. We could rant for days. I will point out though, I did meet some of the rules writers. Lovely guys. You know,
Oh yeah,
let's not say I'm slagging them off. Not at all. I think they need more
of course
people,
they're nice people. I'm sure.
and they're
Hmm.
lovely people. I'd love to have a beer with them and chat Warhammer. Sounds great. But anyway,
Yes.
but anyway, uh, we got on to a little rant there. I forgot what we were really talking about, if I'm honest. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, okay, yeah, competitive. It needs help. I'm actually all for a few different formats kind of being okay. You know, I'm
Interesting.
okay with there being 100 points and 125 points and commanders.
No, no, I'm okay
Like,
with
it's
different
fine.
formats, but yes, but if only the core format doesn't have problem. Right now, the
Oh, no,
core
yeah, yeah,
format
indeed.
has
Yeah.
issues, and because of that, the other formats that are
Yeah.
being spawned out is like you're copying from something that's not
Sure.
fixed. And yeah, sure, you're fixing it, but you're fixing it your way, right?
Yeah, no, indeed. Indeed. I mean, I like to paint a rosy picture of the Kiev meta, but there are
Yes.
splinter factions there. There are people that do not like what the organizer of one particular tournament has done, you know?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's
Exactly.
inevitable. That's inevitable. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's all very interesting. And if GW
I'll
could
bet
fix it, that would be
that'll be great.
lovely. That would be lovely. And then they can start giving us balance changes. Now, obviously, GW
One can only
tends
hope.
to do balance changes by just adding more models to the game. That's how they handle
Yep.
40k and AOS. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's appropriate for Kill Team, but then at the same time, this is my big fear. I don't really want another book to carry around, you know?
I
Like,
know, because
I
at some point
have
you
the
just have too
core.
much books. We already have 3 books.
No, we're at five. We're at five.
What for Kill Team?
We've got the core, we've got elites, we've got arena, we've got rogue trader, and we've got commanders. That's 5 books.
Ah, sorry. I'm counting the core, like the rules. Sorry, I don't count the
Those
those
are all
expansions because
rules
technically
rules.
they're like their own standalone games. I'm talking
Okay,
because you
okay.
can play
Yeah,
no,
sure.
because you can play all the factions with just the core, elite, and the commander. You cannot play all the other factions if you just use the rogue trader rules,
No,
for
that is true.
instance.
That is true. Yeah.
Sorry, that's how I'm counting it.
Well, I'm trying to make it a bigger issue than it is, so I'm counting all of them.
Ah, of
Yeah.
course.
No, 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 no. You're right. For some people will never even see the Rogue Trader book because you don't need it unless you are
Exactly.
playing one of those two
Yeah,
factions.
because
Yeah,
the fact is they didn't even give rogue traders and the Giller Pucks anything for elites, right?
they didn't. Although
Yeah.
arguably,
And the demons didn't get anything for elites too, because and they already
no.
have the elite models.
Yeah, I. Well, and Kroot,
And oh, the Kroot was just abysmal, even as a
terrible.
core army.
Yeah. You know what? Kroot would have been fine if they just didn't limit the Taurox to one.
And if they lowered their points a bit, and if they
Yeah.
had an actual ability, an actual unit wide ability, like I don't know, they get a fur, they get an obscurity. No, sorry, I'm just trying to think. Oh, you know what? I'd be fine with their point cost if let's say they got a further obscure, or they can
Sure.
go or dangerous terrain without penalty. Just something,
Something.
fluffy wise
Something.
or
Yeah.
something.
But they
They don't have to be
didn't.
competitive, but they have to be cruise.
To be fair, if you actually gave them, like the commando ability where they get an, if they are obscured, they get an extra -1 to being hit. I think that'd actually be really tough to shift off the board.
They'd be tough to shift off the board, but then the fact is their weakness is close combat because they don't have any decent save whatsoever. They're just cultists, 6-up armor
Oh,
save.
sixes. Yeah, t-shirt saves. T-shirt saves.
They're
But
t-shirt saves, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you could remove them with close combat really easily. So that could be their
Well,
weakness, getting stuck in close combat.
but they are a close
And it's
combat
not like
army,
they
aren't
have.
they?
They are
Well,
on
they're
paper,
better in
but
close
in
combat.
actuality they're
Yeah.
pretty fragile.
Oh, yeah, super, super.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Like the fact that Rangers don't have great armor means you just make it up with, hard to hit, right?
Yeah,
When you hit them,
exactly.
they go down.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, Chuck. I agree. But we seem to just be ranting about stuff now. So
No, yeah. At
let,
this point,
let's
I think the interview is coming to a close. Huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We could probably just keep ranting about random stuff, but we probably shouldn't. That sounds like bad interviewer technique. Um, did you have
No,
any?
essentially, at this point, I think I have nothing else to say. Honestly.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Um, okay. Well, you know what? I will ask one final question in that case. What
Okay.
is the worst faction in Kill Team that is in the core book?
The worst faction in the Kill Team Core rulebook.
So
Oof.
including elites, but just not any of the additions, like no crew, no demons, no
No
LSCP Star
Gillipods.
Spiders, no
No.
Gillipox. Yeah. So a
Okay, so
faction that
it has to
appeals.
be core
Yeah.
arm.
But we are talking
Okay, the
elites as well.
worst one. Okay, worst one would have to be. If it's not the
Hold
Harkins,
on.
it would have to start to use.
Could you repeat that, please? As just as you started talking, it went all robotic.
Oh, okay, sure. Uh, it would have to be Harlequins or Heretic Astartes.
Whoa! Harlequins or Heretic Astartes? Really?
Yes. Yes.
Man, I feel like we could talk another half hour just about that. Pick. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe not.
gosh.
Maybe not the worst in terms of game. Maybe okay, maybe the worst of gameplay, but yeah.
Really? Okay. Those are
Well,
big picks,
you
man.
said the worst. You didn't say the worst at winning or the worst at fluff or the worst at mechanics. I just assumed the worst.
Well, just the worst. Sure, the worst in whatever form. I mean, I suppose what I meant was the worst, or who has the worst chance of being able to win a tournament, you know?
Oh, okay. Harlequins.
Harlequins. Okay, Harlequins.
Yeah,
I did not see
and
that
the
coming.
Heretic Astartes. Maybe.
Okay, I'll let you put those even if you want. You can pick two.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, sure.
Wow, okay. What are your thoughts on G-Sealer cults?
Gene Sealer cults.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're not
Oh,
top tier, but they're definitely not bottom tier.
gosh. Okay. Well, yeah, fair enough. Harlequins and Heretic Astartes, bottom tier. Wow.
Yes.
That might be the title of the episode as clickbait to get people in. And we only mention it at the final minute of the interview. Yeah.
I
Okay.
know, right?
Yeah.
You should have asked me this question earlier before we
I
went on our
know, I
rant.
know, right? I feel like this is. Well, you know what? We
Well,
will.
feel free to call me back for another
I was
follow up
gonna
interview for
say,
this if you want.
yeah, this sounds like something we need to. We've hooked them in. Now we can get them in the third interview of. It could just be random people phoning into you and complaining, saying, "Actually, I think you'll find that heretic Astartes are very powerful, and you are wrong."
Yeah, yeah, no, 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 and feel free.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to stand my ground and stand my point. But yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
leaving off with.
I'd love to mediate for that debate, but I think I'll give till next time then. Would you
Till
like
next time. Yes.
to plug some social media or anybody else or big out shout out to the tournament you're about to go to or anything like that?
No, I'm a very private, normal person. Besides the occasional post on Reddit.
Yes, and what good posts they are as well. I'd love to see another one. Do you think you'll be doing a write up of your next engagement?
I will definitely record my next engagement and post it onto Reddit again, just like I did in the previous turn. Sure.
That'd be
Just so
awesome.
people get an idea
Yeah,
what's there.
you do good write-ups. I enjoy reading them, and I know from the amount of upvotes they get on Reddit, a lot of people do enjoy it as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I have thought about doing more serious Reddit posts and questionings, but I never know what topic.
Oh gosh, Don't ask me. I mean, that's why I'm a YouTuber. I press play and then don't think about it for 10 minutes and then stop recording. And then whatever I've said, I've
Exact.
said.
Exact.
Yeah, I'm not a
Okay.
thinker. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Chuck, for coming on. It's been great to chat. It's been great to catch up. It's
Yeah.
great to
Thank
hear
you
your
so much for
thoughts
having me.
on
It's been an honor as always.
Awesome. Hopefully, we can get you on again after we've had the next season of tournaments over. Hopefully, you'll be able to go to a few as well, and we can just see how Necrons are doing. Or if you've moved on to another faction, chat about them as well.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. This is Glass Half Dead, and of course, Necron Chuck. Uh, hoping you've had a great day, and hoping you continue to have a great day, and saying goodbye. Have a great one. Bye.